Shalom and namaste everyone. I got a link in the DM. The title is Why the Israeli Army is the Most Dangerous in the World. So, I have to watch it.
Some of the best minds in the world bringing you some of the best knowledge on TRS clips. I think
Okay, before we even start, I absolutely love that channel. Go and subscribe to them because he is so interesting. Yeah, let's continue.
one other point of conversation that I wish to highlight is Israel. We've not spoken about it enough on the show, honestly. So, how
I was kind of happy that there is not mentioning Israel all the time because I feel like countries that are talking about us usually not talking about us in a good way. So I was really cool with you not mentioning us. But yeah, let's
does
watch
the
it.
Indian military look at Israel and everything that one country has done, being such a tiny country, tiny population, tiny
Look at my
landmass,
flag.
but the technology, the level of scientific development is just at some other level. So when you just said that now warfare is much more about information and cyber, what the way I look at it as an engineer, okay, I've realized that it's probably very technologically driven. Whoever has the better technology, like even if you're talking about the agencies, they've also got that information through higher and better technologies. So is that the reason Israel is also kind of looked at as a top geopolitical power?
There are two things, Abital. Not from what Indian military thinks of Israel. I can tell you from
Sure,
military point of
sure,
view what is my personal take on
sure.
this. I have few experiences about Israel. One thing is their apna thought process as a military person, the way they function, they operate. It is phenomenal. There is a lot to learn from any country for that matter.
From them military, you're saying?
Yeah, for example,
Okay.
like whether it is any, I don't want to again name the agencies, you know. If there is anti-hijacking drill, you do it here, there is set pattern, and people will come. There are some dummies, and you are in very protected environment. When buddy, these guys they do it live. People who are
Yeah.
sitting in the aircraft, they don't know. The situation just happens, and then whatever emotions are there, whether people are crying or doing things, they do it in the way it is supposed to be, so
Wow.
that you get a real feel of it, raw feel. This is the environment you're going to handle.
Okay, just like a small explanation about how we do also have, a dry drills and stuff, but also there are actually, you get to a point where like they're building like almost an entire like set with actual buildings look exactly the same as some places, as some problematic places, and people are actually civilians and different people from the army is actually dressed as a civilian in that country, like in that area, and you need to make sure the army need to make sure they're taking the correct person and not the when they're taking terrorists to investigate them and stuff. So they need to make sure they're doing this. They're training a lot several times to make sure the civilians of those places will like stay safe. Even if they hate Israel, even if they're attacking you, you cannot attack them back. And on kidnapping drills, based from kidnapping soldiers, kidnapping civilians, it's something that is actually happened here several times. So this is not in theory. It's not one day something might happen. It's just like something happened. We have pictures, we have names, we know those people who got kidnapped, we know the people who got killed. Again, not only army people, also civilians, also children. So we have to learn how to deal with it, or else we will, we will not be existed. Because this is not, people try to kidnap Israeli civilians all the time. Not only Jewish civilians, this is very important, Israeli civilians. This is why our army is so trained in protecting us, because this is an actual issue.
And they handle it. That is one thing I really loved it. You don't simulate the environment. You create the environment in which you are going to operate, and then you get a feel of it. The best way to train. That is it. And later on, people, okay, apologies for the inconvenience, but it had to happen. It had to happen. Second is strong, few fundas are damn very clear. No compromise on certain aspect. That means no negotiation. Never. Imagine the mindset of the guy who tries any kind of stunt with these guys. They know, yaar, even if it comes to the top man, the first citizen of the country, there is no policy of negotiation. Nothing is going to happen. So it is absolutely correct, and I'm done if I mess with these guys. The kind of the aura, I take a lot of effort to create that kind of aura. That is true. And as a nation, see, you must have heard of Favis operations. You know, have you read about some
No,
of the
no, no,
operations?
no.
The kind of the ideology, they are very small army. People say ki you leave the weapon, but their entire existence is about the weapon. The day they'll drop the weapon and they don't exist. It is as simple as that.
Thank you.
While it might be a very small country, but they don't believe in maintaining a very huge standing army. Like we should be the third largest standing army and all. They spend maximum budget and money on, as you rightly said, on procuring of the latest weapon, technology, and other things.
Probably development also.
Yeah, and other development also. And while they have this concept of mandatory after military service, but thereafter people are on their job. But drills are so very well streamlined. One biggle blown, information passed into the environment. People exactly know, okay, next 24 hours, this is the location, this is the unit I have to report, and this is my charter of duty. And they zoom it immediately. They're very set, streamlined drills. There's something amazing to learn from them. And the kind of the extent they go to and achieve their aim. There have been numerous examples in their history where something has happened in their country which people should not have tried, but they tried. People had gone to not to which other country. They had gone there, whether it was sabotage, whether it was subversion, anything. But they had gone to some other country, knocked down the target, and then came back. It's like amount of the tremendous feeling you get. This is the way to operate. And that's why when you have power and we have got clear fundamentals with you and a strong raw execution, the strongest so-called the superpowers, they also want you to be friend, our friend. And it's good to have friends like this. And I'm happy that we are the one.
This whole thing about compulsory military service, do you think it changes the human experience?
Of course,
Again, I'm saying this several times. This is very important for me to clarify. In Israel, there is a mandatory service. I mean, you need to give time to protect the civilians or to educate or to, better the country. So, first of all, it is mandatory mostly for Jewish people because this country is more about our ethnicity. The Arab came here when they conquered the North, like the Middle East and North Africa in the 7th century. So it's not mandatory for them. You can either do the army or national service. You are there's a lot of, by the way, Arabs right now, like that are serving in the army. It's not only Jewish people, because the army is the army of the people. This is why it is such a big thing. This is why it's kind of shocking to me when you guys are volunteering to join your army. This is not something we are able to choose. Also, if someone is deciding to focus on his studying of our Torah, our holy Jewish book, and to educate themselves more about why we are here, he is not required to do military, because we believe that it's also really important to learn our history and to learn our holy books and stuff. So it is a little different. I will make a video about it, even though I spoke about it in several videos, but I really want you guys to understand that, because I know the media is always telling you Israel has mandatory army, blah blah. It's not that black and white.
yes, I am training boys and girls, young boys and girls. They stay with me on ground. When they come, they stay with me for 24 days. And online, there have been people who have been associated with me for 6 months, 1 year. You give a call now to any one of them, speak to them and ask what have been their experience for last 14 days, even 10 days. I always tell them, even 24 hours, training is a very scientific process. 24 hours you train someone, fine tune it, you see the result. I have seen it happening, whether it is boys and girls or their parents. 5 years in an environment where the trained people, they give you the essence of the life. This is what you're supposed to do. You feel confident about it. Yeah? No doubt about it. You always look from a different perspective if you've gone through a training. If you're untrained, then you're like a misguided missile. You run haywire. But when there is a purpose and there is an element, and you work in a team, things changes. Your perception changes.
What he said is really important, which is, by the way, something like a lot of people ask me, like, when you see pictures from a terror attack here, you also see people run away from the terrorist, but you also see people run to the terrorist. This is, again, like he said, something we're being trained to do. When you live in a survivor, when you live in an area, I'm sorry for my English, when you live in an area that people are always threatened to kill you, it's either fight or flight, but at the end of the day, you know that if you're gonna run all the time, you're gonna keep running. At one point, you need to stand up and fight. So there are so many people who fought terrorists with random things that were around them. Because like I always say, everything can be used as a weapon. All you need to do is to train your brain to a survivor mode, which by the way is not a good thing. I mean, it's totally okay to just to like relax, have a pleasant day, not look all around you and search for weapons, search for exit places, and search for like look and try to profile people. If someone is wearing a big coat in the middle of the summer, look immediately suspicious. Then for other people, people can just look and say, oh, that's a funny person, he's wearing a coat when it's like super hot in the summer. For Israeli people, we are immediately trying to see if that person has a bomb underneath like his coat, because this is how we were trained and raised because of our environment and because of our training. So yes, it's not. I don't think it's great that everyone is trained like this to think the worst, but it's also like again, it's a survivor mode that is only it's important to us when we are trying to survive. I hope that makes sense.
That perception changing and things changing then kind of just paints a coat on the whole nation.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a successful nation
Yes.
when we're talking about Israel.
And people say it is not possible in the country. I am ready to assume the responsibility. You give this responsibility to me, I don't mind doing it. Nothing is impossible. Yeah. Giving training is not a bad thing. I can handle any number of the people you give me. Forge me in army, one small whistle, and a guy who's capable and who is trained well, he can control even 1,000 people with one whistle. Others probably can't. I'm telling you, even after completing 21 years of service in the combats in olive greens,
Wow,
today when I'm
impressive.
trying to impart what I had learned and passing on to the next generation, every day is a new learning. I'm telling you, my perspective is changing day by day when I'm trying to teach these youngsters.
Why?
I'm learning a hell lot of things from them. Yeah, a hell lot of things. You know,
I love it when people are actually taking the time and not just like, look at me, I got all these badges, I have so much experience behind me, I served so many years, like I can teach you, and like that is it. I love it. This is this that person, you know, he's an actual um, person that can actually lead people, because like he said, he's actually learning from the people he came to learn. Like he needed to teach them, but he's learning from them. This is like, you know, he is also a good teacher and also a good person who is actually caring about the people he needs to train. This is not just his job. That's really inspiring.
every person is a different subject. Somebody has got a problem of depression. Somebody is feeling low on the confidence level. Somebody can't speak in the public. Somebody comes from a background, he says, sir, I know English, but I can't speak. Somebody, I get called, sir, somebody wants to attempt suicide and he get given a call and not attending my call. I had handled situation like this also. One later, people rang me back. I spoke to them and things have changed thereafter. Every day I'm handling a lot of situations. They throw situations to me and it is a great learning. And I can owe a lot to my students. मुझे लग रहा है I am growing day by day. I am learning a lot from them. The kind of the situation they are throwing on me.
Thank you for watching this clip. If you want to learn more about this topic, we've curated a playlist just for you.
Yes, go subscribe to his channel. He is so interesting. I love learning from him. Okay, let's talk about several things we saw. First of all, I absolutely love the fact that they're both like bare feet, like sitting without shoes and just talking about serious situations. One thing he didn't talk about was like when he asked why is our country so developed in those things. Um, we are surrounded by enemies. Even if there is a cold peace right now and we're friends with our neighbors and stuff, we know what it's like to be attacked. So we're always, because this is because we're a small nationality and ethnicity among you know, the Arabs who ruled, you know, the Arabs who conquered in the 7th century, who conquered this area. We are always we needed to be ready all the time to fight. This is not something that India is facing in the entire of India. Like in people in Kashmir are suffering, the people like in the borders are suffering next to Pakistan, next to China. But you cannot tell me that like the people are in the entire country are suffering from terror attacks, because this is not happening. But in here, There is not a single place where people are not trying to hurt, or people are not have not met a person who got hurt or killed in a terror attack, or in the army or something like this. We are in a survivor mode 24/7, and we cannot, if someone will conquer our lands and stuff, we will not be here. If someone will conquer, let's, like, not, I'm not wishing this will happen, but like if Kashmir will not belong to India, India will still be like existing. Like the places will still be in India. But think about India, like what if India will be the same size of Israel? And if your enemies will be all over you, like surrounding you, the only place that is not surrounding you is the sea. And those people are actually saying that they want to throw you to the sea. Do you understand why we are in this crazy, crazy survival mode, and why we have to develop weapons, why we have to develop those drones, we have to develop those security systems. It's not something that is just like we want to be a great country. We are in a survival mode, because if we are not going to do that, like if we're not going to do this, I'm sorry for my English, we will be like, we will not be here. We will not be alive. And this is something, it's not some weird grim thing. It's something that people are all the time saying to us. It's not like, this is what the people who want Israel to not be exist saying to us. This is what some people who are learning that I am Jewish, that I'm part of the 12 tribes of Jacob, saying to me. This is one of like things that I'm getting on the DMs and stuff. People are wanting me dead, and because of that, I have to learn how to defend myself, and I have to learn how to survive. And as I know that India is such a great and amazing country, your army is incredible, but you don't live with this post trauma vibe all over you all the time, which is something that this is why, by the way, Israelis fly into your country, because it's kind of similar, but at the same time we can just like relax in your country. And this is not something that you will be able to do if you're gonna come to Israel. Israel is amazing, come visit us, but know that this is not a relaxed, chill place like your country. This is why we needed to develop all those weapons, and this is why we needed to protect our people and protect ourselves. Even if we're not in the army, we're always looking for how can we, like I said, where is the doors outside, where is, like, who is the people who look weird to me right now, why is that person looks really really nervous, why is getting closer and closer to that crowd of girls who doesn't know him. Like, all those things are things that are stuck in my mind, and you guys don't even think about it. You know what? I'll give you, like, sometimes I'm doing the Instagram live on Instagram, and I showed you that I'm wearing, in some places I'm wearing a backpack even if I have nothing inside. And I explained to you several times that the reason I'm wearing this huge backpack is because if a terrorist with a knife will come and try to stab people, he will less likely come and try to stab me, because I'm wearing a backpack. It will affect, like, he cannot reach me from the back. This is something that I live with. This is my reality. This is not your reality. And this is amazing that this is not your reality. Yet, no, yes, you can develop weapon, you can create more things technological wise and stuff, but just like, no, we are not coming from the same thing, because you try to just, like, be great and support the people in your country. We are in a survivor mode all the time, 24/7. Completely different. I know you have your issues with the countries next to you, but your country is big. We're not. We're small. We're surrounded by the same enemy, even if they go by different names. And it's really, like, it's super easy to understand what they want from us, because they keep saying this all the time. Like I said, I absolutely love his podcast. This is like small clips from his podcast, but he has such a longer podcast. So interesting, full of amazing, incredible things. I'm learning so much thanks to him. So please go subscribe to his channel. I apologize for showing the entire clip, but it was talking about my country, so I felt like I can do it. I'm not usually reacting to the entire video if it's a long one, because they deserve all the credit and I don't want to steal their credit. So please go watch the original video in the original channel, subscribe to him, all the love, all everything. He deserves everything. Okay, go support him. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do apologize. This is such a long one, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.